later on as well. So, hi. We are talking about renewal for yourself when you are in a relationship or if you are single and dealing with perhaps a breakup or something like that. So, some of the things that I see more often are things like, people will say to me, Versha, there's no more spark in our relationship. Maybe the chemistry is gone, or there's a feeling of emptiness in our relationship. And I hate to use the word, but a lot of people will also, in that stage of their relationship, feel hate. And that word is so strong. But when things, week after week or day after day become, heavy and start weighing down on the relationship, it becomes inevitable that somebody is going to start to feel something like resentment or hate. And so I am here to talk about renewal in a way to improve on some of those feelings so that you are not feeling alone, or so that you have some suggestions and ideas and ways to get yourself out of that feeling. So, whether it's that you don't have a spark anymore, whether that the relationship doesn't feel like it has chemistry, hate, resentment, all of these things are not uncommon, whether you are in a marriage, whether you're in a long-term relationship. These are things that you're going to face. So, if you're in a relationship, a lot of the things will be the same when you're trying to solve these issues, again, marriage, long-term relationship, or whether you're single. A lot of the same things can be done. But I want to first start by talking about when you're actually in a relationship and what that can mean for that renewal process. And the one thing that I like to emphasize the most is your environment. If you're thinking about renewing the relationship, if you're thinking about renewal for yourself, for the person that you love, your partner, think about changing the environment and the spaces in which you are doing things. So it could be your breakfast. It could be where you spend your intimate time together. It could be as simple as going downstairs for a change, going upstairs for a change. It could be as simple as going outside for a change. And doing normal things in a different setting will help to reignite different things in that relationship. So that can be a simple way to get a little bit of renewal and freshness in the relationship. Similarly, something as simple as, changing a pillow or getting new curtains, maybe dressing a little bit differently on a day-to-day basis can really ignite a lot of renewal. And I don't just mean renewal for the relationship. I also mean the feeling of rejuvenation for yourself in the department of self-care and personal care. So something like changing the way you dress may bring you a lot of joy, but more importantly, the people around you will begin to feel the changes that you're making, and they will affect them as well. So, the summertime is the best time for this. It's summertime right now. Being able to change your environment by simply going outside is a great way to feel refreshed on a day-to-day basis. I personally love having a meal outside, coffee outside, or just going out there to stretch. Gives me this great feeling of rejuvenation, and I encourage you to do so with your partner, with your spouse, with the person that you're dating, and definitely, of course, for yourself as well. So, another great idea for feeling a sense of renewal in a relationship is to simply make new plans. How many times are we just stuck in the everyday routine of wake up, have your coffee, go to work, or go to work and then have your coffee? So, changing that plan, changing that routine is going to create a great sense of renewal. It's Monday, it's the start of the week. This is exactly when you can start to do that. So, some ideas for that can be creating a date night. I absolutely love date nights. I'm talking about them all the time. both with clients and online with you all. And I feel like date nights can be as simple as lighting candles at dinner. It can be as simple as, sending the kids to grandparents' house. Or it could be as elaborate as going out. It could be as elaborate as a whole weekend away. I mean, it's really up to you, and you have the power to choose to want to do these things in your relationship, for your relationship, and of course for yourself as well. So, one of the big things when you're in a relationship, and I'm going to get into a little bit of what it means to do these things if you are single and dealing with a breakup, but a lot of them apply regardless of what you're experiencing. So, if you're feeling like there's no spark in your relationship, if you're dealing with a breakup because you didn't feel like you were getting enough out of the relationship, or you didn't feel like the other person was putting in enough effort, these same principles apply. So take advantage of them. It's the beginning of the week. Go for it. Try something new. When you are in a relationship, one of the best ways to feel renewal and rejuvenation in that relationship is to think about why you're with this person in the first place. So, for example, why did you end up together? How did you end up together? Why did you fall in love with this person? And when thinking about the story that the two of you share, think about the ways that you are in sync. Think about the times when things were easier. Think about, maybe some obstacles that you encountered and are and dealt with really, really well. Maybe they were a year ago, maybe they were 6 months ago, maybe they were decades ago. But the important part is to think back to times when it was a little bit easier. And if it wasn't easier, how did you get through things and still avoid things like resentment and hate and the lack of chemistry in the relationship? At some point, those things weren't there. So thinking about, why you're together, thinking about times when you've overcome things together are going to help you overcome them now as well. Thinking about things like, how you might have certain strengths that you are able to express and share as a couple and apply to your daily lives. Are you really great with your kids when you're out on a run to a soccer practice? Or do the two of you handle your schedules really well? Do you travel really well? I mean, remembering all of these things are going to bring a sense of newness to the relationship, and that can be really, really exciting stuff. So think about the past. Think about why you're there. Think about what the meaningful things were that you shared together from the past, and really enjoy those again. Bring them to the forefront of your thought process. Bring them to the forefront of your relationship, and you will see that it will shift your mindset back to where you were when you first fell in love. And that is going to create a completely renewed vibe within the relationship. And that's awesome. That's going to mean there's going to be a spark again. That's going to mean that you can let go of hate. You can let go of resentment. You can, reignite chemistry. And that's going to be fantastic for the relationship. Now, when you're single and you're dealing with the hurt and the pain, the resentment and the sadness of a breakup, use some of these same things. And when you're thinking about being single in these situations and you're dealing with the breakup, you won't be thinking about times perhaps when you and this significant other shared something incredible. Instead, I want you to think about times when you were there for yourself, times when you were strong, times when you had an obstacle that you accomplished all by yourself. For me personally, when I had a hardship and a breakup, I thought about that magnificent vacation that I took when I was all by myself, traveling by myself in a foreign country, overcoming obstacles without anybody's help. And that was how I recognized that I can do it by myself, that I'm strong enough to do it by myself. And similarly, think about the things that you've achieved. Think about the things that you are going to enjoy in the future doing for yourself. Things like the personal care, the self-care, the long shower, the nice bath, the facial, the workout, all of these things that you can do for yourself that you perhaps could not do when you were in a bad relationship. Similarly, changing the environment, changing, everything from the way your living space looks to the, the pillow, maybe where you go to yoga, maybe where you do your workouts, changing these things are going to make it so much easier for you to feel renewed and fresh and different and get you out of the negative mindset of a breakup and really bring you back to a renewed sense, a renewed state that's going to get you ready for the next stage in your life, whether it's a relationship or whether it's, personal growth. So any of those things, you got to be ready for them. You've got to set the reset button and be ready for what's coming up next. So these are some ways to do that. If you have any questions, these are topics that I often discuss with clients. I look forward to talking to you all more about those one-on-one. I am always loving the direct messages that I get with comments, and so please feel free to reach out. You can email me, you can schedule a call, and you can also schedule and apply directly to the Knowing Lux in Love program on my website and on the link in my bio on Instagram. So thank you for joining, and I look forward to talking to you more. Have a wonderful rest of the